How's it going, everyone? So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a really satisfying looping kind of gummy text animation. Now this was inspired by a piece by an amazing artist named David. He goes by Mr. Glissy. I might be pronouncing that wrong on Instagram. I asked him if it would be okay for me to show this because it is an incredible piece and I really love it. So if you guys want to check out his work, he's really incredible. He's doing the 36 Days of Type right now, and his work is beautiful and very colorful. I've been watching him for a while. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, he has a YouTube channel as well. All that stuff is in the description. I just wanted to make an announcement. The glitch material pack will be available on Patreon before the end of this month now. So if it is past this month by the time you're watching this, it's currently available now. It's an incredible pack. Syncratic did a really good job on it, and that will be available on the Patreon in the next couple days. So look out for that. Let's get into the tutorial. All right, so we're going to open up a new Blender file here and clear everything out. We're going to hit Shift A here and add in some text. So let's do that here. Now what I always like to do is center out my text. So right here on the A, go from left to center and center. And then what I can do now is put in anything I want. So I'm just going to type in Blender. You can type in whatever you like. Then I'm going to hit RX90 to rotate it just like this. Now let's give it some geometry. So let's go ahead and extrude it to however thick you like. And right now it is a very sharp edge. We don't want that. So put depth at 1, and now we have a nice beveled side. And what's good about that is that's going to be catching some of the light that our lights are going to be casting in this tutorial. Now, what I like to do is switch the font. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a simple Helvetica bold right here. You can do whatever font you like. I like this font. It works the best for what I like to do. So I'm going to go about this thickness. I'm going to hit the tilde key and go to the very, looking for front. Here we go, very front. I'm going to hit Shift A, add my camera, and hit Control-Alt-0, snap it to view. I'm going to hit G, middle click to zoom it out. But I don't want the how wide the camera is. If you go to your camera, go to the focal length, you can see this. You can actually make it super wide angle. So say if I make it at 9 millimeters, if we go back to our camera, it's like super wide angle. It's really very kind of cinematic intro kind of look. But I'm going to go with 100 millimeters because what that does is it kind of flattens out our text really nicely. Does it make it very fisheye, bowing out, but you can still see that the text is nice and 3D. So for the animation, it's just as simple to form, but I'm going to give you guys a reason why I'm about to convert this mesh. If we just do what we're going to do, you can see some very bad topology issues, and once we add that glass material, it's going to really be screaming at us. So what I'm going to do is delete that, right click, and convert to mesh. And now you can see that really bad Ngon topology. So what we're going to do to fix that is I'm going to go up here to the wireframe view, add modifier, and we're going to go to a remesh modifier right here. So now you can see if we go to the flat view, it does this. Click smooth shading, uncheck remove disconnected pieces. And what I found for this is a remesh octree depth of 9 gets it right back to where we were, almost 100% to where we were. You can see a little bit of issues, but that's not going to be a big deal. So what I'm going to do is actually put my octree depth at, say, like 2, or actually 3. We want to kind of see what's going to go on because we're going to preview the animation now. But if you have it all the way at 9, your animation is going to really be lagging. So add modifier, simple deform, and this angle right here is going to be the animation. So I'm going to bring it all the way at negative 360. I'm going to get my end frames 120, give it 120 frames. And this is at 24 frames a second by default, so that's going to be a 5-second animation. Now, edit, preferences, go to animation, and make sure your default interpolation is on Bezier so we get a nice, smooth animation. Make sure I didn't mess anything up. Now, what we're going to do, right-click on angle, insert keyframe, go to the very end by hitting this thing, right-click, insert keyframe, and right here in the middle, go to the end, or just type in 360. So we're going from negative 360 to positive 360. Now, when we press play, this is the animation we're going to get. Now, of course, if you go back to the octree depth of 9 and you press play, you're going to get some pretty serious lag. And I have a fairly good computer, and it's pretty laggy for me, so I would say if you're trying to preview the animation, put it down at 2, 3, 4, something like that, whatever your computer is comfortable with. So I'm going to go right here to where the text is flat. Now we can start shading this guy. First, let's set up our, we'll hit R for render. Now, all right, we're going to be in cycles because this doesn't work in Eevee. Glass is very different behaves very differently in Eevee because it is sort of a game engine. So let's go ahead and make a new shader. We're going to bring our roughness down to something like this, and then we're going to make it transmissive. Now it's a transmission. On the world brightness, bring that all the way down to black. Now let's go ahead and add in that first light, and we're going to be using area lights. So let's bring this guy all the way up here and then scale it up just like this, and then bring it to, say, a brightness of 500. It's 500. Now what I'm going to do is hit Shift D, bring this guy down, and then hit RX180. That flips it by 180 degrees. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit the tilde key, go to the front here. I'm going to select both lights, Shift D, and then I'm going to hit R to rotate them, just like this. And then I'm just going to bring this one back and bring this one back. And this is our lighting setup for now. It's all lit up. It looks really cool, especially when it's rotated. If you go here, it's super cool, but we're going to make it even cooler and color our lights. So we're going to go to the top one here, and we're going to make him kind of an orangey red. The same on the bottom, that same similar orange. On the area light, we're going to make this one blue on the side, and on this side as well, make it blue. Now what I found is you need to make the blue ones a little bit brighter, so I'm going to go with 800 on the two blue lights. Just like that. And now we have a really cool animation that we can preview. So of course, if you want to preview the animation, it's going to be in Cycle, so it's already going to be very difficult to preview. All right, so we're going to be utilizing Blender's brand new AI denoiser. It's better than the current denoiser that we had. So to activate it, go over here. You're going to see this little card shuffle looking icon. Click denoising data, and then say I'm going to give this guy 300 samples. All right, so I'm going to hit render image, and we're just going to watch this render out. This is what it looks like on 300 samples. 1,000 samples looks amazing, but we're not going to be doing that. So that's 300 samples. And let's head over to compositing. Click use nodes, Shift A, viewer. We're going to use the viewer. We're going to use the image here so we can see what's going on. And then on the view, you can click fit everything there. So first off, I'm going to hit Shift A and type denoise. So right here, denoise, plug it there. And by default, it's already going to do some denoising. It does a pretty good job by default, but we're going to use the noisy image, noisy normal, and the noisy albedo, and that does even more. Now, before we finish, I'm just going to pop in a glare node to make it look a little bit nicer. So glare right there, and you can see it happening. I'm going to go from streaks to fog glow, so you're going to get a little bit of fun going on. But to actually make it work in the render, say if you want to render the whole animation, it won't work until you take this portion right here, plug it into the official composite node. So now let's go onto layout, render image, and watch it render, and then we'll see how it denoises. So I'll kind of zoom in a little bit. So we're almost done, and there we go. It denoised it. It does pretty good. Now, if this is for a professional project, you're going to want to up those samples pretty well. But if this is for social media or for something just fun, it does an amazing job. And what I like to do for the last bit is I'm going to take all my lights here. I'm going to take my blue lights and bring them up to 1,000 brightness. So all my blue lights, 1,000. And my red lights, I'm going to bring it up to 800. So the reason I'm doing this is to get that glare node to really be working in my scene. So let's re-render it, and we can watch how that glare node really makes the scene pop. And there you go. Now we have some beautiful glare. So now that you're done, what I like to do, what I did in mine was I duplicated the pieces to give it just a much better composition, I think. And then I zoomed my camera out just a tad bit, and then I pressed play. And then when we render it, now to render the animation, you're going to go over here, pick where you want to export it, go to PNG sequence if you know how to stitch together a PNG sequence right here. But if you don't know how to do that, just use FFmpeg video, encoding to MP4, medium to perceptually lossless, and then render animation. And then when you're finished with that, you're going to get a really beautiful, really cool, kind of satisfying, gummy text animation. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.